Hey y'all, I'm DJ. Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk books. Alright, so this is actually part 2 to my last video where I was talking about 1,000 books and I thought I could get it done in 30 minutes, and that's just not the way that it happened. So here we are with the rest of the books. So I just wanted to talk about some books that I recently purchased and that I'm currently reading to see if you guys have heard of them, if you're reading them, maybe you want to read them. You can give me some suggestions of books that you may be reading now, because the new year is about to come through and it's all new things, new books, new reads, new us. So let's get the party started. So the first book I want to talk about is a book that I'm currently reading, but I mean, I'm really like just starting this book. I'm probably 20 pages into the beginning of this book, and I have mixed feelings already. That book is Gingerbread, and Gingerbread is by Helen Oyeyemi. Every time I read her name, I feel like I've read a book by her, and I just haven't gone to figure out what book that is, or if I have, maybe I just feel like her name is familiar. But yeah, so Gingerbread is following a young girl and her mom is the cooker of this gingerbread. And apparently the gingerbread is not super great or terrible. It's just one of those things that, like, it sustains the family when they need it. Like, if you need something to eat, if you're feeling like, oh shit, I'm not feeling so great or whatever, there's always this gingerbread that the mom makes. And, you know, some people love it, some people hate it, but it's one of those things that's just like intertwined into this family's history, and this is what's going on. So what I'm up to is pretty much like the mother and the daughter are living in this building. They're like on the top floor. They're connected to the people in the building in multiple ways. The daughter is going to school, and the mother is a part of like the PTA, and she's just trying to get like connected with the other parents and find her spot. And they're like denying her to be a part of the group. I don't know if they feel like they're better than her or not, but like they're not eating her gingerbread. She's over that. And she's just thinking of this friend that would always give her advice of what to do, and how she's not thinking of that advice. And in some ways, I feel like the mom might be a little lonely, or she's just trying to find herself, and she's doing it alone, and she probably doesn't want to, because for most of us, it's difficult to do things like that. We're always looking for like someone to give us advice or support us, but usually we have the power in ourselves to do it on our own. But I couldn't really give much on that because just started this, and yeah, it's interesting. I don't feel like it's like a really moving story so far. I don't want it to be a DNF because it's short, but it's not super exciting yet, but it's the first like 20 pages, so I need to calm down and just get into it. But Gingerbread, that's what I'm reading. So the next book on the list is The Unsettled, and this book is by Ayanna Mathis. This is Book of the Month. I got a lot of books from Book of the Month. They sent me this book with a little rip in it, and I hate things like this. I don't like when my book is ripped. I don't like when there's like a little tear or anything going on. I like things to be perfect, and that's sad. That is a weakness of mine, but I like what I like. I have not read this yet. This is on my TBR, and apparently this book is following multiple characters, but there's a mother and a son, and I believe they're living in like an urban area in the city. The mother's down on her luck, and for some reason they end up having to move into like a group home or like a shelter, and she's really trying to get back on her feet. Apparently the boy's father, I don't know if he's like coming out of jail or something happens where he comes back into their lives, and the mother is super distracted by him, so she's probably not the best mom when he's around. And clearly he's not really doing much for the family because they're in a shelter, so there's that. She's also like estranged from her mom. I believe the mother's name is Duchess. And funny thing, the mother owns acres of land, and the name of the land is Bonaparte, which is actually my last name, so that's crazy. And there is some connection with the entire family in this land, and the mother trying to keep the land in their name, and it's just a lot going on. And some way, somehow, the son feels like he's like deeply connected to this land and his grandmother, and all of that just comes crashing into this. Beautiful cover though, right? It's really cool. And I'm guessing like the roots and the tree, it's very representative of family and the connections and how deep the roots go and how far back it goes into time with land and all of that. So yeah, I thought that this was something that I would really like. Yeah, The Unsettled. So we'll get into this. Boom. So the next book on my list is The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. So I love fantasy books. I don't know about anybody else, but I love them. I haven't been reading many lately, and the reason that I don't read many fantasy books back to back is because, I mean, come on, it's a big ass book. It's huge. But I also love huge books. You know, fight me on it. I love a thick book. I don't know why. Maybe I just love the way they feel. Whatever. So this book is following a woman pirate, which we don't get that perspective enough, but a woman pirate who is pretty much like very deep in her career. She's done it all. She's had multiple husbands, multiple wins, own ships, crews, all of that. She's ready to retire. And then she's offered this last big job that's like a lot of money. You know, it's to go get somebody's daughter who was kidnapped. But unfortunately, along this trip, she realizes, like most heroes in these stories, that it's not as easy as they said that the adventure would be. They are really going through it, and this last adventure might cost her her soul. She might die and lose it all just to do this last job. And she's like, is it worth it? And that sounds like a journey. Like, she's already like a very, very well seasoned pirate, so I'm sure that there's going to be some craziness. I'm sure there are going to be like sea monsters, because look at that cover. The cover is saying we're gonna like this. So yeah, thick book, fantasy, can't wait to read it. And I'm sure you guys are gonna wanna hear about it because he talks about fantasy. He loves fantasy. But yeah, so this. So the next book on my list is by an author that I actually really love. I've only read 2 of her books, or maybe 1.5, but she's great, and I'm really, really excited to read something else by her. That book is Let Us Descend, and this is by Jesmyn Ward. So let's just talk about how the cover is really beautiful. I don't know if you all can see that. Hopefully it is in focus, but yeah, this is really beautiful. I love the way this book looks. Apparently this is a reimagining of a time in slavery, American slavery, and it's very fantastical, and it's also very heartbreaking, like most of these books would be. Of course, I love stories like this. As gripping and as terrible as slavery was, the amazing stories and the amazing, whether they be real or fictional memories and emotion that these stories invoke, it's just amazing how we can get so much from it, learn so much from it, and just have a deeper connection to a time that really has a lot to do with molding who Black people are today in America and our culture. So yeah, this book is pretty much following a woman who was enslaved from multiple places in the South during slavery. I believe it's the Carolinas, it's Louisiana, and somewhere else. But yeah, it's just pretty much following her and how she deals with the trauma, and how multiple people have dealt with trauma by going inward and having a big imagination, or you know, kind of like reaching into the magic realm or the esoteric realm, where they can use nature and magic and things like that to kind of like help them deal with the suffering and the pain and the issues of chattel slavery in America. So yeah, Jesmyn Ward is an amazing, amazing, amazing writer, and I can't wait to read this because I know it's going to be dope. So yes, Let Us Descend. So the next book on my list is Spells for Forgetting, and this book is by Adrienne Young. Spells for Forgetting. I actually really love this cover as well. Book of the Month vibes. The cover is nice. I really wanted to get these books. A lot of them are like fantasies and they're about magic, because I feel like I was like neglecting that part of my reading journey, and I really love magic and like realism of magic and like fantasy books. I wasn't getting enough of that, so I got a bunch of them. And this book is apparently about I think it's like 2 separate characters. I'm not sure of their names. Yeah, Emery and August. And Emery is pretty much living a life that she doesn't want to. She's running the family business for tea selling. And August is living away from the town that they grew up in. I think both of them are. But they've moved away and they're living their separate lives or whatever. And some way, somehow they end up back in the town where they were born or where they're from. And August shouldn't be there. He's like actually a murder suspect. So there's all of these things like secrets coming to pass. People are finding out what's going on. And they're just like, what's going on? A lot of foolishness, but there's also magic involved. And yeah, that's pretty much all I know. I don't really know much about this book, but I do love the cover. And I knew that it was like a mystery, mystical-esque vibe. And I wanted to give that a try. So this is on the TBR. Spells for Forgetting. Boom, 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 boom. So the next book on my list is A Flicker in the Dark, and this is by Stacey Willingham. So this book is, well, let's talk about the cover and how nice that is. We all love a little wooded area. This book is following someone by the name of Chloe, and when she's younger, there's like a bunch of murders going on. It's like a serial killer. It comes to turn out that the serial killer is actually her father. And I'm not sure if she's the one that discovers that he's the killer or not, but she has something to do with it. Her father is the killer. Crazy. Fast forward years later, Chloe becomes a psychologist and she's working with young girls in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Some things start to turn out very similar to what was going on when she was younger. There's a serial killer, and I think that he has like the same like MO as the one when, you know, when she was younger, her father. And she may be put in a situation where she's the one who is going to catch another killer. That's all I know. I think that this is a really cool cover, and I also feel like the plot was giving me, I might like this, another mystery with some weird mystical aspects to it. Flicker in the Dark is on the list. I hope it's dope. If you've read this, you know what to do in those comments. Okay, so the last book on my list is actually a book that I won in a giveaway. Now, I don't win things, which is really strange because I'm one of those people that's like really intuitive, and I feel like, you know, I'm really connected to like nature. I'm spiritual. I know when things are like oddly off in the atmosphere. I'm like just one of those people. I'm the type of person to be like, oh yeah, I was thinking about Kevin the other day, and then 5 minutes later Kevin walks up to me like, hey DJ, and I'm like, oh, of course, you know, I was thinking about you the other day, and now I'm talking about you, and here you are in my face because I'm just that person. So the fact that I don't win things and I'm not really lucky when it comes to like gambling and raffles and shit, very weird. But I did win something this time, and I got a book from a giveaway. So I won this book, and that book is River Mama. And River Mama is by Zalika Reed Benta. It's a really cute cover. I know that it's like paperback and glossy, so you can't really see it because of the light. And y'all know I'm not a huge like paperback fan. I love my hardcovers, but I love a good story regardless. And this book follows someone by the name of Alicia, and Alicia is living with her mom. She's fresh out of college, and she's just trying to figure out what she's going to do with her life. So apparently Alicia is living in Toronto in Canada, and her family is from Jamaica. So one night, this river deity comes to Alicia, and it happens to be a Jamaican river deity. It comes to Alicia, and it's like, hey, you have 24 hours to go all throughout Toronto and find this like piece, this relic piece, this like, I think it's a hair piece or a comb or something like that. Go find my magical missing comb, which is strange, but that's what the deity has her doing. And she's like at work bugging out because she's like, this is like Jamaican folklore. Am I bugging, or is this real? Do I have to do it? And two of her coworkers are just like, yeah, girl, sounds like you got to do it. And they all team up, weirdly enough, and they figure it out together, and they're on this journey figuring out this mystery. And it sounds pretty cool, interesting. It's fantasy. I love fantasy, so we'll figure it out. But yeah, I didn't pay for this. Someone sent this to me and I won it. So I'm going to read it and I will give a review. Thanks and shout out to the publishing house that sent this. I don't remember which publishing house that may be, but thank you nonetheless. I even got a bookmark I'm talking about. I guess I could like try to figure out who sent this to me, but alas, I don't want to. We'll do that another time. So yeah, River Mama. So that concludes my part 2 of my long book haul video where I was talking about books that I've read, TV shows that I've read to those books, current reads, TBRs, book haul. Like, I really tried to put everything into one video, and that was absolutely ridiculous of me to try to do. So here we are with a part 2. A part 1 and a part 2 is wild, but here we are. But yeah, so I would just like to say thank you guys for tuning into this video. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. We love comments. And yeah, let's just get ready for the next ride. I hope you all are out there reading. Leave suggestions. You know I love a good suggestion. And let me know if you've read any of the books that I've talked about in this video. But until the next time, y'all know what it is. Peace.